Hi, my name is Corey, and this is the first episode of my podcast, HOMOsapiens. I'm a senior at the Southwestern Career Academy, and I am a gay male.
Hi, I'm joining my friend Corey. My name is Marjorie, and I'm a straight female.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, and I am an ace female.
So, this first podcast, we were going to start out with, basically describing how I, came out. And, a lot of people in the world come out differently, and all their parents treat them differently of how they come out and, how they treat them after and before. And so I just like to describe my experience with it and have my two friends here to question to get all the information out and on the table. Sound good to you guys?
Yep.
All right. Well, so when I was young, I was raised by my mother, mainly because my dad was always at work. And, situations at my house weren't always the best because, my mom was a drug addict for a very long time. And so growing up, I was raised by my mother and my two sisters. And they basically raised me to be like them. And to be like them, it was obviously going to be raised like how a girl would be raised. And how boys play with trucks and I would play with Barbies. And it got to a point in my life where I would go to school. I grew up, I went to school, and in about 7th and 8th grade, I really, had this leap through where I would act like my sisters would act to get friends, and I would attract girlfriends, like friends that are only girls. I wouldn't attract people that were guys and to be my friends because they were just they weren't accepting to the fact that I was acting the way I was. Everybody always just assumed I was gay. Everybody just pointed me out as the weird guy and everything. And eventually, after a while of that kind of experience and everything, it made me realize that what I was just confused.
It goes back to that question about nature versus nurture. You think you're a certain way because of how you were raised, but it's some testing shows that no matter how you were raised, you just are the way you are. So do you believe that the way you were brought up had anything to do with your sexuality?
Yeah, Barbies versus fire trucks. Do you think that
yeah, because
really
if
played
you're
a huge effect?
such a strong, your sisters had such a strong influence on you.
I think they just made me realize.
Faster than other people, or?
Yeah, I think that everybody just put it into perspective where, I was always gay, but it didn't show until the things in my life brought it out for me.
So what were you confused about?
What do you mean?
So you said you were confused. Were you confused with the way you were acting and how it didn't match up?
I was mainly confused about how I was acting a certain way and then the other guys weren't.
Oh, so
you were confused because you were brought up, you didn't have anybody to compare yourself to, an older brother. You were confused. I get that part. Okay.
Yeah.
Clarification.
I thought he was confused about his sexuality.
Yeah,
I was
like,
are you confused about being gay or straight?
It went through all this time and I didn't realize I was gay until I'd say the end of 8th grade year, because the end of 8th grade year was when I found out about
tea time.
going to Pleasant View, where I went to middle school. Through all the years, it really helped me shape the person I am today, and it taught me self-value. When I was little, I was taught to be this person that favors the way girls act, and I would act like them, but now I just feel that I act like myself. And that is who I am. I don't act like a girl, I don't act like a boy, I act like Corey.
ends it right there. Podcast is over. This is all we know. But I remember
I didn't come out yet, though.
Yeah, I know, but I was like,
We're
'cause
gonna
I was
come
like,
out.
that's a perfect,
I'm me.
like that's a perfect like ending, like.
Oh, I
saying
can like put that at the end.
Oh, but like it brings when you were talking about like coming out, it reminds me of like what people said, like they just thought, just assumed that you were this certain way. It just reminds me of what you told me, like when you did actually come out, people were like, oh yeah, we've been new. Like I was like, that's kind of rude.
But yeah, it is rude. Like I'm just sitting
so
here
rude.
spilling my heart out. Like it's not
like,
an easy thing to say, but then you'd be like,
oh, I've been new.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
That's
And then
that's old news.
I remember hearing
Bored.
when you talking about it, and I don't know what she said. I felt like she said like, oh, I had a suspicion or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, just be like be
Thank
comforting.
you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. But I felt offended, and I wasn't even the one coming out. Like it hurts my heart to like hear that, and especially because people just and then I've grown a lot since we met junior year. Because I remember meeting Corey, and me and Anna Karen just came from Westland. But I remember you came off so strong to me. I was like, who is this weird kid? Because you kept saying chicken. You just kept saying chicken. we were like writing down like our favorite things, and Corey kept saying chicken. I like chicken. And I'm
I feel like I remember this.
Were you there?
I mean, I was in the class.
Oh
But Jasmine already knew me, so it wasn't like...
like, oh, he just said chicken. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Were you in our group? Oh man, I didn't notice if you were there.
I don't know. I can't remember. That was
remember.
a whole year
I just
ago.
remembered me, Anna Karen, and Corey. That was like my first distinctive memory of the Career Academy.
The only reason I stayed was because Corey was in the
I
class.
was looking so
like,
crusty.
okay. I guess I can say.
So when I reached a point to where like it was just time for me to just like tell the world who I was, which is kind of like messed up because like if I don't want to tell the world who I am, I don't have to.
No one should out you.
That's
some BS right there.
Yeah.
The thing with the coming out is like that. I don't know if it's just me and I don't know. I'm like such an Instagram kind of person. Like you find like those deep quotes, but they're actually not that deep. There was like one thing where I don't know about your lives, like what it feels like to be like one of you guys, but I remember reading like this person who like had a girlfriend, and she was like, their friend was like, are you gonna tell your family? Why are you not telling everybody like of what you are? And they're like, I feel like most people, straight people don't have to tell like their families or come out, then I don't have to do the same thing. So I was like,
I feel like there's a huge pressure to come out, to actually like come out.
Say
like
it.
even if you know how your parents are gonna react, it's still scary.
yeah, you still have to it's like a pressure you have to tell everybody.
Like it's a pressure, and I don't know where the pressure comes from because it's just like it just makes you nervous. And
and then you have to out yourself. That's what people want. They want you to come out.
And then
say
it kind of feels like someone just threw like water at you, and they're just like, oh yeah, she's this or he's this, and you're just like, oh cool, and then everybody kind of just like, is it true? And then you kind of have to at that point just say yes or no.
I don't know, like why do people want to answer so bad?
I don't know. I think it's their like self-ignorance that gets them.
I also feel like it's social media. Like everybody has to know everything about everyone now.
No, was it with you? We were having a conversation, and then somebody would. Yeah, it was you. You were telling me that some girl came up to you, and you were like, "She's lesbian. Are you lesbian?" And they, like, why does that matter? So it's like,
yeah, I don't know.
So basically, I feel like people just should mind their own business, worry about themselves. That's how they're going to get through life. Because if they keep worrying about other people, then they don't have time to worry about themselves.
It's not even that. It's just people being nosy. Like, it's not like, oh, like, they're not worried about their well-being or anything. It's just wanting to know somebody else's business because it's fun.
It's really the generation.
Yeah, it's just fun to know. And, like, it's becoming more and okay because we come up here and, like, what's the tea? On people we don't even know.
Yeah, what's
like,
the
we
tea?
do it ourselves.
Be like, who's that? And then you go look them up, and then you're like, oh, and then you go just...
And then you're not going to go around spreading it, of course, but, like, people tell you anyways. And then it's, like, it's more interesting conversation to have with your friends.
Eventually, I just needed to let it out because it was bugging me not to tell people. It wasn't that I was worried about what other people would think or about other people pressuring me to tell any other people. But it was like, it was like a deep dwelling on my heart that I just needed to tell at least my family. So I went about it and I told my sister. Her reaction was just like any of my friends. She was like, oh, I've new, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of whatever. Now, when I told my stepmom, she took it in a way that, like, she was totally fine with it. But she told me that my dad would be upset with me. And this is something that I didn't expect because I've always known my dad to love me no matter what. My dad actually did not find out from me. It was on his birthday, and my stepmom slipped up and said something about it, and he pulled me aside, and he said, you know, I don't support it, but I love you, because he is a Christian man, and you know, that's how he is. But in my heart, I don't care who supports it, because in the end of the day, I have me and myself, and that's all I need to care about. Period.
And cut. This is
Jasmine's so ready to go. She's like, yeah, cut, over.
And this is the end of my podcast. If you are a young LGBT teen and in need of help or any assistance, just please call 1-866-488-7386. Again, 1-866-488-7386. And trust me, you're not alone in the world.